Howdy, howdy, this is Crafty Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I'm going to cover round 1 predictions for the new Thor Ragnarok and Drax arenas. The first thing I like to do with any new arena is kind of figure out how do these arenas stack up or compare to past arenas. And when it comes to 4-star and 3-star feature arenas, the two main clusters are if they're either new champ or old champ. And with Thor Ragnarok, it's pretty clear he's a new champ. The more interesting kind of clusters around the 4-star basic arena, where you have the high interest, low interest, and mid interest champs, or I should say arenas. And in this case, I think Drax will, albeit he's still a decent champ in the game, he's been in the game for some time. And I think a lot of folks aren't looking to grab him. You got Val in the 4-star feature, where you're having most folks, or I should not say most, but some folks who did 4-star basic in the past, they're going now over to 4-star basic to do some grinding there to get some valor. I think you're going to see in case of Drax, he's going to fall into the low interest um, cluster. So anyway, now that I've got these arenas kind of blocked out based off of past arenas, let's take a look on how some of these past arenas performed. So when we take a look at some recent low interest 4-star basic first round cutoff results, you can see that the top 10% that ended up getting the champ all kind of hovered right above 2 million at 2.14, 2.11, and 2.08, with 11 to 25% shard tier falling right around that 1.5 million, which is right above the last milestone reward. When we look at some recent 4-star feature arenas, you can see with Mephisto it went from 18.5 down to Morningstar to 17.9 million, with Blade coming in at 19.3 million. And then you can see the top 10% shard tier all fell around that 4.5 to 4.6 area, which is around 500, 600,000 higher than that last milestone, which is at 4 million. And then what's not shown here, but in the case of the 11% shard tier, those results came right around that 2 million marker. So there's a lot of variation, 2 million roughly between Morningstar and the highest, Morningstar, I should say, Morningstar and the highest with Blade. So definitely some variation with the most recent 4-star feature arenas. And when we look at some recent 3-star, those same champions, but in their 3-star arenas, you can see that there is some variation, but the variation range is much smaller, from 1.52 all the way to 1.6 million with Mephisto, with 11 to 25% right around that 660 to 646,000. So right above that last milestone reward at 640,000 for the 11 to 25% tier. So in terms of coming into these arenas, as part of my arena preview video, I asked the community where do they think Drax would fall in terms of a mid-tier and low-tier interest for the 4-star basic arena, and I also asked, given that variation for some of the recent 4-star feature champs, new champs, what did the community think Thor Ragnarok would fall in? So let's take a look first at that. You can see that a majority of folks, almost 60%, over 50% for sure, thought he'd be in that 17 to 18 million range. And Dean D here called out, I choose this number based upon the videos I've seen showing Thor Ragnarok's damage output versus original Thor. Original Thor got through Realm of Legends Winter Soldier down in 192 hits versus Thor Ragnarok and 238 hits. And a lot of the other comments that were left with the poll kind of resonated with this, similar in terms of people thought, he's just kind of a mad chap. He's not that great. However, there were some votes out there, as you can see, 28% from 18 to 19, and even 17% for 19 million plus, where you have Gas Mask Dude saying, hey, Valor. So Valor is definitely something to consider now. And this is the first time we have a new champ in the 4-star feature arena when Valor's involved. We had the old champ, and we saw that pushed up the results 2 million to 12 million. But in the case here, we're really talking about a pretty substantial 2 million, and again a 2 million bump, but you've already had to go to 17 million just to get the champ, 17 to 18 million just to get the champ. And if you look at the difference of valor between the tier that you get the champ and the next tier down where you get the shards, you only get an additional 10,000 valor. So I'm not sure that extra 10,000 is going to have folks drive the higher numbers for Thor Ragnarok when he's a decent champ and not really that god tier kind of level. And then I asked the community which group will the Drax 4-star basic belong to, low interest or mid interest. This one, there's no doubt. I mean, although there were a handful of folks thought he might be in that mid interest tier, most folks thought he would be in low interest. And as you can see here, CJS 8000 says Drax is pretty good, but most players have him. Plus, with Valor, I think most intermediate level players would go for the feature arena. I usually exclusively grind for the 4-star basic, but now with Valor, I'm spending more time on the featured hero arena. And there's a lot of comments, again, matching CGS 8000's comment here. So I think that's a common belief across the community. Although you can see here with Road Scholar Comics comment, he or she was saying Drac hits hard and has a nice bleed. A 4-star is a good pool for any roster. So there is some folks out there, but the majority of folks think Drax will fall into that low interest, which I agree with as well, as you can see with the cluster that I put him at the beginning of the video. So with all of this, with going into the trend analysis and the predictions, I think Thor Ragnarok will fall in around 18.2 million. I mean, without Valor, he'd probably be somewhere in the low 17 millions, maybe even lower than that. But I think with Valor involved as well, he's going to push up to 18.2 million, with the top 10% around 4.6 million, and that 11% shard cutoff coming in right around 2.1 million. Now, when we jump over to Drax, I think he's truly going to be a low interest. You saw some of those recent numbers there. I think 2.2 million, he's going to fall right in line with those recent results. And the 11 to 25%, I think you're going to see come in right around those same similar results at 1.6 million. And lastly, with the 3-star feature, I think you're going to see those results come in at 1.53 million, and the 11 to 25% coming in at 670,000. So, as what I typically like to do with any of these, with any of the predictions, is also give a grind target, because as I always say with predictions, these are just based off of community input, as well as looking at trend analysis of some recent similar arenas. But past results don't guarantee future results. So if you really want some of these champs and really want some of the valor that goes along with the 4-star feature, here's my suggestion in terms of grind targets. If you really want Thor Ragnarok 4-star, go 19 million. I might even want to go higher than that if you really want to make sure you want to get them. Top 10%, 4.8 million with the top. With the 11% shard tier, you better go all the way to 2.4 million. I mean, we've seen that creep up a little bit with Valor's inclusion now versus the typical 2 to 2.1 million. You better throw in a couple extra 100,000 if you really want to make sure to get that tier. And that's an important 11% tier in the 4-star feature, because the lower tier, you don't get any 5-star shards. It's 11% tier where you first get 5-star shards. But then when we come over to the here in the middle at the 4-star basic Drax arena, if you really want to make sure you get them, go to 2.5 million, and the 11 to 25% go to 1.7 million. And lastly, with the 3-star feature, if you want to make sure you really get Thor Ragnarok, go to 1.56 million, with 11 to 25% at 690,000. As usual, these grind targets as well as the round 1 predictions are all for the veteran bracket, meaning your account has been live for the last 61 days. Not necessarily how long you've been playing it, but how long your account has been open. So when it comes to newer accounts, the beginner's bracket, which is account open 1 to 30 days, you should be able to get the 3-star Thor Ragnarok for around 245,000, the 4-star basic Drax for right around 1 million, and the 4-star feature Thor Ragnarok at right around 1 million. And then for the intermediate bracket, the account's basically open for 31 to 60 days. You should be able to get the 3-star feature Thor Ragnarok for 650,000, the 4-star basic Drax for right around 1.1 to 1.0 million, 1 million exactly kind of thing. And then for the 4-star feature, you should be able to grab Thor Ragnarok for 1.5 million. And again, these results for the intermediate bracket and beginner bracket are really kind of rough ballpark figures to base your grinding off of, just because there isn't wasn't a ton of previous results to do the trend analysis against. So anyway, these are my thoughts for the Thor Ragnarok and Drax arenas that just started today. So good luck if you're out there grinding. If you feel differently about the results or have any questions, throw them down in the comment section and we can discuss them there. Otherwise, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate you clicking a thumbs up button, or and if you like this video and others that I have on the channel, would really appreciate a subscribe. Other than that, thanks a lot for stopping by and have a great day.